Hey folks, welcome back. Uh, got a little bit of interesting news today about an absolute banger of a classic module and Wizards of the Coast plans for it. Before we get into that, of course, if you would please, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notification about all of our future videos upcoming, whether they're live streams or newsy videos like this and whatever else it is we do here on the channel. If you'd like to be informed about that, again, please click the subscribe button and the bell icon. So with that said, let's jump right into this because this was some pretty interesting news, and I think it's pertinent to those of us in the old school. And I want to thank show fan Vincent Notobartolo for pointing me at this. It seems that the classic B2 Keep on the Borderlands is due to be revisited by Wizards of the Coast. Now, I am, of course, not at all shy about my love of that great module, Keep on the Borderlands. It was written by Gary Gygax back in 1979. It was the second ever pack-in Dungeons & Dragons module. It went into later revisions of the J. Eric Holmes introductory D&D set, and then into basic, it saw an expansion with Return to the Keep on the Borderlands, B1 to 9 In Search of Adventure, and of course, for a few years, Goodman Games published a mighty tome that included every revision of it, including a conversion for 5e, and that kind of brings us back around to where we are now, because it looks like that the new starter set for 6th edition Dungeons & Dragons will include Keep on the Borderlands. So let's take a look at this. This is over on Bell of Lost Souls, and this comes from J.R. Zambrano, and of course I will link to the article so you can read it yourself. And what have we got but that absolutely gorgeous Jim Rosloff piece there of adventurers fighting. These are not orcs, by the way, as some people think they are. These are hobgoblins. But let's read the article here. D&D 5e starter set will take players back to a familiar Keep on the Borderland and parts beyond. Here's what we know. At the D&D Direct yesterday, Wizards of the Coast unveiled a new starter set for the 5.5e rule set coming in summer 2025. The new starter set encompasses a familiar D&D adventure that gave rise to many adventurers' career over the years. That place is none other than Keep on the Borderlands, which is just a short jaunt through dangerous wilderness from the Caves of Chaos. Well, if you were wondering if WotC would return once more to Phandalin, now you know. It looks like Phandelver and Beyond, the Shattered Obelisk, will be the last incarnation of the beloved Lost Mines of Phandelver for a while. But don't despair. At D&D Direct, WotC revealed a new starter set with a hefty dose of nostalgia, the infamous Keep on the Borderlands. The Keep on the Borderlands was an old school D&D module. Pardon me, JR. It is an old school D&D module, printed at the tail end of 1989 by Gary Gygax himself. The adventure module was designed specifically to get new people into D&D. And if I can just pause there, of course, the Keep on the Borderlands video is one of the first videos I ever did for this YouTube channel. I'm not embarrassed by the content. The video production maybe isn't exactly there, but if you go all the way back to the beginning, before live streams, before anything else, I've got a video on Keep on the Borderlands, and I absolutely love it. And this is a correct statement. It got me into D&D. It was the only D&D book I had. I've said that many times. I taught myself how to play D&D by just kind of reverse engineering what was in the module. But let's read on. It was one of the easiest quote-unquote onboardings, where players would arrive at the keep, then travel through the wilderness, and eventually find the Caves of Chaos, where all manner of monsters await. And that is a take on the iconic art by, of course, Errol Otis, which graces the back of the module. Here's a look at the cover blurb from the original B2 module. This module includes a cover folder with maps and a complete description booklet to form a ready-made scenario for Dungeons & Dragons basic set. It has been specifically designed for use by beginning dungeon masters so they may begin play with a minimum of preparations. Within are many features to aid novice players and dungeon masters, legends, history, and background information, a list of adventuring characters, tips on how to be an effective dungeon master, plus an interesting area for characters to base themselves in, the keep, before setting out to explore the caves of chaos. So in 2025, get ready to return to one of the adventures that started it all. It'll be interesting to see how WotC frames new players in this go-round. With the starter set releasing after the core rules, DMs should have all sorts of resources available to them by the time they have this adventure. Personally, I think this is Wizards of the Coast putting the cart before the horse. Not the choice of the module, but the starter set's actually not being released until next summer or fall even, which seems kind of counterintuitive to me, because the books will all, the core books, the advanced books, will be out well before the basic version. And so we can dip over to ICV2, where they actually discuss this. And it says, this is from Jeffrey Dome Sanchez. Wizards of the Coast announced its 2025 Dungeons & Dragons releases via D&D Direct video presentation. WotC has previously mapped out their release schedule into early 2025, see dates, and has gone into the depth about the books up to their 2024 Monster Manuals release at their Gen Con event. On August 27th, 2024, the WotC team shared a sneak peek of more of their 2025 releases, starting with 2 releases with working titles Dragon Anthology and Updated Starter Set. The Dragon Anthology book offers players more details about dragons, as well as 10 short adventures that all feature dragons in the dungeons. It will hit in summer 2025. The Updated Starter Set is exactly what it sounds like, a redesigned starter set that is aimed at introducing players to D&D. The set also comes with a new Keep On The Borderlands adventure. Now, this is something interesting that they touch on, and I'll say why I find it interesting. WotC designers announced they were returning to the classic D&D setting Forgotten Realms in 2025. In late 2025, they'll release a Forgotten Realms Player's Guide and a Forgotten Realms Adventure Guide. The player-focused book allows players to create new characters for different for different realms, in conjunction with the 2024 Player's Handbook, and add Forgotten Realms setting specific elements to them, like factions, new subclasses, feats, spells, and more. And the Adventurer's Guide dives into more different parts of the realms, allowing DMs options to tailor different realms to their campaign needs. The book features information about Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, and isolated towns based on classic fantasy setting. So, the 3 takeaways from this are, of course, a revisit to Keep On The Borderlands. As old schoolers, we should all watch this with some interest. I love Keep On The Borderlands. I think it is probably one of the best things ever created for Dungeons & Dragons outside the core 3 AD&D books and the original game itself. So when I hear that things are going to be done, that things are going to be updated, of course, it gives me pause. And this also makes me wonder if this wasn't why the DCC, or I'm sorry, not the DCC version, the hardback version from Goodman Games wasn't discontinued. I wonder if they perhaps just said, well, we're not continuing on with the license of that because we have plans for it. So yeah, I do kind of want to know where this is going. And the other thing I would mention is they talked about a focus on Forgotten Realms when earlier they had said that Greyhawk was up next for 5e, which, just like Keep On The Borderlands, a lot of trepidation about to see exactly what was going to happen to Greyhawk, but now it looks like they're actually shifting to focus more on Forgotten Realms. not as their pack-in, but as their, hey, this is the campaign world you can play in? Or does it mean that they're going to have multiple campaign worlds for sale, which TSR did? I don't know. I don't know. It's more the Keep on the Borderland news that I wanted to bring you guys, of course. And now one thing that's a little bit of lore for you guys. I was a beta tester for 5th edition back once upon a time. And the early D&D beta tests that we downloaded with character creation and that sort of thing, they actually contained a 5e version of Keep on the Borderlands. So I wonder how much they'll be drawing from that. But of course, the starter set that they did release for 5e didn't have Keep on the Borderlands. It had something completely different in it. So that's the news, and I found that to be exceptionally interesting. And of course, I would like to know what you guys think about it. So leave a comment below. Do you think this will be a proper, respectful treatment of Keep on the Borderlands? Do you think they're going to make a mess of it? I, of course, am curious to see it. I have plenty of copies of Keep on the Borderlands to run a D&D game with, so I'm not super concerned that they're going to quote-unquote ruin anything. And of course, it is one of the most commonly available D&D modules. You can find it on DriveThruRPG, and you can find copies on eBay for dirt cheap as well. But let me know what you think in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and let me know down in the comments what you like about it. And if you don't like the video, give it a thumbs down and let me know down in the comments what you didn't like about it. And I'll try and do more or less of those things that you like or don't like. But until then, everybody, let me just say this. Bree Yark.